so I want to find out today from our guest if character is something that can actually be changed, amended, especially through education. So I'm pleased to be joined in the studio by Madam Patience Wedjuwo. Good morning.
Good morning, Jemilla.
Did I get it right? Wedjuwo.
Wedjuwo, yes.
Wow.
Yes, you did.
Good morning,
Good morning
once again. Okay, so going right in, what is character education about?
It's basically some kind of learning within the school environment where children are taught about values, ethical behaviors, training that would let them end up being socially acceptable, because we have certain behaviors that are completely not accepted within societies. And I'm saying socially acceptable because you could be trained in certain values that might not fit into the society in which you are.
Okay.
So probably what is acceptable in the US might not be acceptable in Ghana.
Okay.
So it's a bit more contextual. You have to look at where you are and the behaviors that are accepted at where you are.
Okay.
After all, we say when you go to Rome, you do what the Romans do. There's no point living like an American when you live in Ghana.
Okay.
So teaching people how to live according to the norms and the values of their society. That's basically what character education is about.
Okay, so let's backtrack a bit.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about character.
Mm-hmm.
Are there certain character traits that are acceptable? Everybody agrees, okay, these are the characters that people should have.
Yeah.
And some that are unacceptable.
I think so. I think there are certain characters that are universally acceptable.
Such as?
For those things, even if you go to the moon, it will still be accepted.
Okay.
Such as respect.
Okay.
As simple as just respect. It doesn't matter if you are in the US or you are in the UK, you are in Iceland. Respect is respect.
Okay.
So it's acceptable everywhere. Honesty. Being honest. There's no place you go and the people will frown on the fact that you are honest. Trustworthy.
Mm-hmm.
These are things you can go to anywhere with. So these are some of the characters that I think it's very, very important that we sit back and look at how we can bring up children to imbibe these things in their development. It's not just about academic work. It's not just about intellectualism.
Okay.
We focus more on cognitive development, where children are taught stuff and they can actually bring it out and pass exams.
Mm-hmm.
But then they get into society and they can't fit.
Okay.
So I think it's very important that we pay some attention to character education to make them come out as a complete human beings and not just one-sided.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you think that these are things that should be taught in school?
Yes. Yes.
Why do you think that?
I think these days, I think most children stay in school longer than they stay at home.
Mm-hmm.
I might be wrong, but that's what I think. They spend more time in school than they spend at home. Even when they come home, they still carry the school back home.
Okay.
So I think our educational system has a lot to offer. But let me quickly add that character education is not just about schools. It's a whole, everybody has a responsibility to play. Parents definitely have responsibilities to play, and then the society equally has something to do. So we all contribute to make the children better people.
Okay.
So we don't see the kind of adults we have now.
Okay.
These adults now, with all the corruption and everything, they were once children.
Mm-hmm.
And if we had it right at that time, we wouldn't be in these situations. Yeah.
Okay, so if you're going to target children, in school children,
Yeah.
at what ages do you think it's appropriate to start this education?
From the literature I read in the US, where they are really seriously thinking of
Advocating,
schools having character education programs, it's usually targeted at high schools. In Ghana, we might say senior high schools, but I'm thinking even the junior high school wouldn't be a bad idea to start training, really bringing such programs. Yeah, so that by the time they get to the universities, they've developed themselves. They know who they are. Nobody can influence them wrongly anymore.
But do you think that's credible, starting from, in your opinion, if this was something that Ghanaians are going to pick up, do you think it's appropriate to start from high school or senior high school? I'm asking this because we have a saying that charity begins at home. In some odd way, we coined that to say that you have to begin with a child when they're young so that they can grow with it.
Yes, so, I very much agree.
So do you still agree that it should be the high school or senior high school, or it should be lower?
No, I think parents can start with them from home. At the age of 6, I'm sure every child is already developing their personalities.
Yeah.
So it can start from 6 years, because then when you talk, they can appreciate what you are saying. Simple rules, helping them to know that this is acceptable, this is not acceptable. When a guest comes to the house, you need to welcome the person. You don't talk to an adult without saying please. These are simple, basic things we can start for as young as 6 years. Parents can start that. But I'm just saying that for it to be a program that can be added to the curriculum at school, then maybe junior high school would be appropriate to start from in the schools. But at home, parents can do that for as young as 6 years, I think.
But wouldn't that be challenging? Because if a young person, a child, has inculcated certain behavior traits into their character, and then they get to high school and you're trying to now change it, wouldn't there be friction? Because it's something that they've imbibed into themselves from a very young age, and so it's difficult to change it. Wouldn't it be better if we inculcated that into maybe the lower levels?
So that in the educational system?
Educational system. So that it's difficult for them to go away from it, rather than maybe to start when they're much older, which
they are in high schools and they probably already made up, they've made up their minds.
Yes.
I read a study recently, and one thing about character education is that it's not an event. It could be a lifelong thing.
Yeah.
And so you don't start a character education program and expect that by next week the child has completely become this polite and very ethically behaved child.
Okay.
It takes time. And results, various findings from studies show that over time, even if they had already imbibed bad characters, over a period of time, you can, if you are consistent, you can still change the behaviors. People can change.
Okay.
It's never too late to change.
Okay, you think character can be changed? Or
it can change. It can change. I have changed. Haven't you changed? We change based on where you find yourself. Maybe you were hot-tempered. You find yourself working in an environment where people are annoying you all the time. You can't be annoyed all the time. With time, you will learn how to be patient. So we all change every now and then. So I believe people can change.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm asking this because let's take into consideration the environment, genetics.
Yeah.
I don't know if genetics is something that you can just change, because most of us have our parents' DNAs in us, and so a lot of people haven't even lived with their parents, but then they still have traits.
The genes
when you
are
see,
there.
oh, he behaves like his father.
Yeah.
So if a person is a certain way because of his genetic background, is it easy to just say, you know what, let's use education, let's teach them one or two things, and then it goes up?
No, it's not easy. But there's always that nature controversy.
Okay.
I mean, you might carry the genes, you might have the traits, but we are not saying those genes will be changed, but you can modify those traits that you inherited to a more acceptable way. So if I keep using quick temper as an example, your parents are like that haughty and you kind of inherit that. With training, you can be able to find strategies to manage your anger anytime it comes on. That is change. It's not completely taking away your traits and your genes, but it's now modifying that attitude to become more acceptable where you are.
Is every character trait malleable? Is it easy for you to change every kind of character trait? Or there's some of them that are more difficult and can never be changed over time?
Some are really difficult. Once in a while, it pops up.
Yeah.
But if you are socially aware and you are very conscious of it, when it comes, like I said, there are coping mechanisms. That's why character education also includes teaching children life skills, various coping mechanisms. So they cope. You are able to adjust. You are able to adapt. And that's what living is all about, adapting and changing and coping with situations, even though naturally you wouldn't have been able to do that. So you learn how to adjust.
Okay, so how is it going to be? Like, are we going to have a special curriculum? Is it going to be a subject? How would you propose that
the program, with the character education program? From what I've read from schools that are now doing it, and it's a big deal. Like, these days, parents want to take their children to schools that actually have a structure for character education, because nobody wants an irresponsible child. Recently, I don't know if you heard, a teenager gets up, takes a gun, and starts shooting. So now character education is a major topic for discussion, and it's a program. Every school, it's not necessarily a curriculum, but you draw up a strategy that aside your curriculum, these are strategies the school intends to use to mold the character of the children in the school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
so it's like a strategic plan. Just that this one is geared towards
so it's not
character.
a subject.
No, it's not a subject you learn.
Study.
No.
Okay, but I think that there's something we're already doing in Ghana, though. I think we have character education embedded in our educational system already.
Right.
Yes, because if you look at certain subjects, but the point is when we're teaching those subjects, we don't say that, you know what, this is where it's supposed to take you to. We're trying to build your character. I feel like in Ghana, we're just teaching people, you know what, learn this. But we don't know unto what end it is. There are certain subjects like literature, which teaches us the triumph of evil, good over evil. There are certain core subjects like we used to do religious, moral education. We used to have worship. So all of those things have a bit of character traits. We study those things. But it's just that they haven't made us conscious enough to know that, okay, this is something that we should do. So I'm asking that because I feel like it's already in our educational system to a certain point. Social studies where we learn about don't be deviancy, don't be a deviant, be punctual, all of those things. I think while in my time in school, we even had courtesy for boys and girls who were teaching boys and girls
is still present,
how to. So all of those things. So I feel like it's already in our system, but have we made it into such that students know that this is what it's about? We are building your character, or it's just something that people are learning to pass examination?
I quite agree that we used to do those courses, but you'll be surprised those courses are no more. That's entrenched. Some people choose to either do it or not. The Courtesy for Boys and Girls, that book, I'm not sure some kids have seen it before. There used to be this small booklet. I don't think some children have seen that book before now, as we speak. So you realize that most of these things are being dropped. Religion and all that are being dropped because we think we've evolved. But it's actually rather taking us backwards. So I think with the issue of character education being a program is now making it a bit more conscious than just subtly dropping it in between a subject. And you know how our educational system is. Everything being taught, all the child is thinking about is, will it come in the exam? I have that even at the university. You are teaching MBA students, these are postgraduate students. And all they are thinking, Madam, is it coming in the exam? Is it coming in the exam? As if life is all about exams. But there's so much life outside of exams. And that's the consciousness I'm actually advocating for.
I think Aristotle and Martin Luther King had the same view where they said that education shouldn't just be about studying, but about bettering the minds of people, building them into good people with character. But the way we go about it, I'm thinking that is education the way to go? Because I feel like the kind of films we watch, the songs we listen to, our environment, they have a better chance. Will you agree that they have a better chance of changing character than education?
That's why I said it's a whole complete set of responsibilities for everybody, like society. That's one you just mentioned. That's the responsibility of the society, that we don't allow certain things to be shown for children to learn certain behaviors on the media, because the media is a very powerful tool. So these other channels can help, and they do a great deal, because these days social media and even the mainstream media and everything really have a following. And so those are powerful tools that can equally be used, and that's the responsibility of the society to also help in shaping.
With the society, let me just announce
using society in that sense.
So at this point, call us on 030-222-3126 and let's tell us what you think about this topic. If teachers are supposed to be imbibing good character traits in people, are these teachers themselves good role models? Because children don't only, in fact, most of the time they don't listen to what you're telling them. They watch what you're doing. A lot, and that's what most parents or teachers or caregivers don't know, that they watch you. So a mother is saying, shouting, stop shouting in a loud voice. And she's shouting. So that's like
very contradictory.
So are these are there going to be special tutors or psychologists, or is just going to be, let's say if this is going to be a program or something we're teaching, will you think that it should be the teachers? Because these teachers themselves, now they're molesting. What do you think?
That will mean the training will probably have to start with the teachers themselves. They themselves must understand that there's a need to change the society, beginning from where they are. So they will have to change. You have teachers these days telling children to pick up monies from their parents and bring it to school.
Yeah.
These are bad things they teach the children. And your child comes home to tell you, my teacher said that when he was my age, he used to pick his mother's money. Yeah,
Wow.
I had my son tell me that one day his teacher said, oh, when he was a child, he used to write things for his classmates and take money. So I'm sure he was thinking he's teaching them entrepreneurship, probably.
Are you? Yeah, wow. Let's take Prince from Takoradi and then. Good morning, Prince.
Good morning.
Thanks for calling in. You want to contribute?
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
It's a good program you guys are organizing, and what I want to say is these days the kids, I mean, they learn a lot from home.
Yeah.
You know, even though some of the parents don't have time for their kids these days, we wake up, we are all in a hurry to go to work, we drop them off.
Yeah.
And that is it. They spend most of the time with the teachers. So I think the teachers should rather be teaching them some of these things. They should fix something in their syllabus so that along the line they'll be learning all these things, how to say please, how not to use their left hand to give something to somebody. You know, kids of today, they do anything anyhow. They can just use their left hand. They even write God with a small letter. You know, when we were coming up, some of these things were not done.
Yeah.
You use your right hand to exchange something. You write God with a capital G. I mean, certain things.
Okay.
These days, you get a visitor, and they are also sitting there. By the time mommy or daddy gets a visitor, that eye contact would even let you just walk out. But these days, even if you watch their face, they don't care. They even pick the remote and now changing channels.
Yes.
There's no respect. I think some of these things should be put in the syllables, and they should teach the kids how to come up.
Thank you. Thank you for calling in. Thank you very much.
That was really just straight to the point.
Yeah, but that, like we're talking about, the teachers themselves have
Issues.
they need character education.
Oh God! The whole transformation must start with them, because some of the things they can tell these kids, you can't even understand it. Because I know teachers they do psychology, they do child development and so you should know that at every stage of a child's development, they have a certain attitude. If you are dealing with adolescents, you know that you shouldn't be picking on their body parts because it will give them a low self-esteem. But you have teachers doing that.
Let's take Fred from Bato. Good morning, Fred.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah. Madam, I just want to contribute a bit.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, madam, these days, I think the teachers have to do a lot about the teaching aspect of the kids. I mean, nowadays, you could see even a teacher, trying to undermine children and try to sleep with children at school. That's degrading our moral attitude.
Yeah.
So I think the teachers have to do more about that. And society is so dangerous nowadays, where society, when children are growing up, they were not able to teach their moral values. They want to link them into those things. So I think teachers have to do more about that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. But I want to ask a very important question, because failing is a part of character building.
Yeah.
If you fail, you pick yourself up. How you even react or what you do after you failed is important. But how do we address failing in our schools?
Sports. Get children to do sports aside just learning in their classroom. I am a sports person. I ran right from secondary school to the university. I was a sports secretary for Ekwafoho. It has a very, very simple way of just building in you how to fail and how to succeed next time.
And let's talk about the classroom. If a child fails in the classroom, how do we react? How do we treat that as Ghanaians? I'll come back to. Let's take Hilford from Techiman, then we'll take that.
Right.
Good morning, Hilford.
Good morning, madam.
Thank you for calling in.
Okay. You have a very nice program and
Thank
very
you.
educative.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I want to comment something small about what you are saying.
Okay.
Okay. I'm a teacher myself.
Okay.
And then I want to know, the lady, I just joined the program, but I just heard her saying that her son's teacher told her that his teacher said they should be collecting money from people while helping them. But I want to know if the child attended a private school, the child attends a private school or a government school. And when you are talking about teachers, we have professional teachers, then unprofessional teachers. So if your child attends a private school, for instance, that teacher has not been trained on certain things. So the teacher may say something that does not permit, let me say, our curriculum. It doesn't permit you to use certain words in class. And then secondly, too, I want to also talk about the number of hours teachers spend on children, and then the number of hours parents also spend on children. Looking at it, teachers only spend 8 hours with children, but parents spend the majority of hours with children. Look at a child who close from school. The first thing the child will do is coming to watch TV, especially these telenovelas. Look at how these whites behave. This child will pick it up. You see, this child is going to pick something up from that thing. Teachers, our duty is also to handle the child for that 8 hours. And then 8 hours, the child has to go for break. Let's say 45 minutes break. Then the rest will be academic work. You see, so mostly we should blame the parents more than the teachers, because the teachers have less hours with the children more than the parents. Even look at weekends, for instance. No teacher handles a child.
Okay, thank you. So, thank you for calling in. But I think we already addressed that the environment and society also has a part to play.
Everybody has a part to play. And he mentioned a very important, the TVs and the things that children do. There has to be rules at home. Like I said, that's your responsibility as a parent to decide what your children watch. After all, you bought the TV set. You choose what will be watched and what will not be watched. You don't just leave them to watch everything, because like he rightly said, at the end of the day, they will be picking stuff from there. I remember one of my sons watched a cartoon, and the next day something happened, and then he was pulling his head up. I'm like, what are you doing? He said, I want to remove my head and put it down, and later I'll pick. Apparently he watched some cartoon.
That brings me to my next question. Why is it that cartoons, for example, that are supposed to be for children's entertainment has so much violence?
I had no idea until this boy started manifesting that. I thought cartoons were harmless.
No.
So I won't let them watch telenovelas, but then when they told, oh, Mom, this one is cartoon, this one is cartoon. So I let them watch it until this guy started saying he wants to remove his head and put it down. Then another time he jumps from one bed because he thinks he's a Superman, you know. So you have all these things. So now even the cartoons, so they are complaining in my house. They say, now I said they shouldn't watch cartoons. They shouldn't watch telenovelas. What should they watch? You know?
I think when I was
you hardly find anything useful for children to watch and learn anything from. Everything is almost risky. You don't know at what point they will drop a word that you wouldn't want your child to hear. So it's becoming very difficult. You probably now have to stop watching TV, maybe.
Let's take Mabna from Cape Coast. Good morning, Mabna. Oh, I think please call back.
Sorry.
Okay, so I was asking a question. How do we treat failing as a nation? Because it looks like I remember when I used to be in school, we had this our Greek teacher. And when he brings after the examinations or tests,
the papers,
and then he brings your mark. If you got 30%, they'll write 30%, 20 canes on the board.
Wow.
So everybody is ready because they'll go from 10, 20. So you're counting the number of canes you're going to get. Now I feel like I won't be too strict about failure.
It's like when you fail, you have to be punished.
And so when people go out into life, then they are scared to fail. Okay, let's take another. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm doing well.
Okay, please contribute.
Yes. My contribution is very simple.
Okay.
You see, it's not that teachers are not teaching.
Okay.
Teachers do teach. especially those who are professional teachers, we teach. The problem actually is that the GES, what they inspect teachers, is actually not translating into literacy of the children we teach.
Okay.
It's how come many students at the basic level can't read nor write. What is it that they come to inspect? They come to inspect lesson notes. And then they would like to find out the quantum of exercises you have given.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, lesson notes doesn't teach any child how to read and write. And so, because they expect this thing, teachers spend all time producing what education inspectors want to see. Meanwhile, these things are not translating into literacy for the children. It pains me so much that countrywide, many students, about 70% of our children in school, can't read nor write.
Okay.
Yes, government is spending money, paying us a lot of salary. I think the education inspectors would have to shift their focus from lesson note inspection.
Okay.
To teaching teachers.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for calling in. So it looks like this has actually brought to fore the issue about our educational system.
Yeah.
Like
what we deem important.
Yeah.
Everything is so mechanical. You know, as a people, I think we need to understand that life is bigger than just an exam.
Mm-hmm.
Life has so many other things a person can do, and not necessarily write. Like he's saying, lesson notes. You inspect lesson notes, and that is enough to say that this group of children have been educated. People can sit in their rooms and write notes. But
usually we just have to chew, and even with the students. Let me take Abdul from Takrady. Good morning. Joel. Good morning, Joel.
Good morning.
Please go ahead.
Okay. One, I want to talk about the teacher who called in to talk about parents.
Okay.
Parents trying to push the blame on parents rather than the teachers. He talking about teachers spending 8 hours with the kids.
Yeah.
You wake up around 6, 5. We spend like 2 hours with the kids. We drop them off, and you are able to spend 8 hours. We come back home around 6 o'clock. They do their homework. We eat and we sleep. We spend most of the time with the kids. But during that 8 hours, you have this whole 8 hours to teach them values, and you call to blame parents on not bringing up their kids well. I think it's wrong.
Okay.
And what you also talked about failure.
Yeah.
The example that you gave, like teachers coming in to lash us, even to me, my time, it happens up to the SS level.
Yeah.
You feel they bring books, they check classes. Along the line, when I was in school, I'm a banker now, I realized I liked dismantling things and fixing them.
Yeah.
I brought this up. I told my parents that I want to be a mechanic. They pushed it somewhere. I still have, even now that I'm a banker, I still have that passion. Sometimes when I go to my mechanic, I see him dismantle the car, fixing it. I feel like that is where I'm supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to be in the office. So I think there should be a program. There should be, like coming up, there should be people. There should be a program where when the child is not forcing in class, he's not being able to grab whatever theory we are putting in his head. There should be something, a carpenter, a mechanic, something that the child can fall on. So that before he completes JSS, he knows how to fix something. SS, he's learning how to fix an engine. Tertiary, he can build an engine. Like, this is what we should do, and stop forcing the theory thing on the kids all the time. Is it by force to read? Is it by force to calculate math? If you know your 1 + 1 is 2, I mean, it's good. If you know your left and right, what is your name, and you're able to speak small English, I think it's good. Okay. Let's give the children hand something in Slani Jumabi, let them do something.
Okay.
And stop this whole book theory, forcing things into chicken.
Okay.
No, really, along the line, even now as I sit here, as I work in the bank, I sometimes I regret working in the bank. I feel I should be out there fixing cars, fixing something.
I hope, thank you for calling in. I hope that you can still go and pick that up. And then I think a lot of parents do that because they are worried that, will you be taken care of? Will this help? But then this brings me to something Albert Einstein said, that if you tell a fish to climb a tree, you might think that the fish, I'm paraphrasing, the fish is bad. But when you put the fish in water, the fish, you can't put a lion in the sea and say swim.
Yeah.
But if you put
no
the
matter
lion
how
where
strong
the
that lion
yes.
is.
So it's just because we don't really put where people should do well in certain categories.
Yeah.
We lash them, and we were lashed so much for agric, and I'm not even an agric extension officer now, you know. So I think that the way we look at failure, because then it makes people not want to try.
Yeah.
Because we see failure as a bad, but I think if we, like elsewhere, when you fail at something, they'll make you try again. Keep trying and trying until you pass at that.
They might even want to know why
you're failing.
Is it that you don't like the subject?
Yes.
Is it the approach to it? But we don't. It looks like in our system here, we simply do not have time. Everybody just rushes. Okay, so just pass along and let's all go. But it's not everybody that can move at that pace. So there's a need to pay attention. If somebody
So I was going to ask you my next question. We have just a little bit of time.
Okay.
But if we're doing character education, should the approach be the same for all students? Because we know that people have their various temperaments. Melancholic, choleric, phlegmatic, sanguine, and all of that. So, and everybody takes correction or change in a different form. So will it be the same approach? Because if you do that, then it's like putting everyone in one basket.
It can definitely
what
not
would
be
you
the
advise?
same approach. I think if you are a teacher or you are a parent, you must know the child you are dealing with and understand what they can take and what they cannot take. Sometimes not even what they can take, where they can take it. Probably if you took that child aside and spoke to that child, they would have listened. But if you stand in front of all their friends and you say it, they will rebel. And they will pretend they don't even understand what you are saying. So we need to pay attention. Look at that child. What kind of child is it? I'm more of a sanguine, so you can tell me anything, and I'll probably even laugh it off.
I am melancholic, so
all right. So you might probably take it more seriously. I will just laugh it off and move on. Probably later on, I'll think about it later, but not now. So you should know who you are dealing with, and I think as parents, it's our duty to find out who are. Even if you could have 2 or 3 children, they are not the same. So you don't treat them the same. I have 3 kids. One I speak to in the room. One I rebuke in the hall. I don't talk to all of them the same way because they are different. One is very particular. When you say one word, and he will think about it the whole day.
Like me.
Yeah, exactly.
So people, why is she? This is nothing.
It's
but
not, no, but we are different.
Yes.
So I think if you're a professional teacher, you should know that
these things,
our behaviors are different.
Okay.
So,
Our time is fast. I wanted to ask one
already.
I know, right? It's been so much fun. I wanted to ask one question. One is, do you think that character education is what we need to be good citizens? Because there are certain places, let's take Rwanda for example, where I went. It's not about character education, it's about law. So people are also of the view that if you make the laws stringent and parents are adhering to the laws and doing the right thing, children will automatically pick up. What do we need the education where the laws
understand the law? Before you abide by a law, you must understand the essence of the law, right?
Okay.
And so you come back to the same.
Unfortunately, we have to go. We don't have.